Well, an internet phenomenon called Second Life is causing global controversy. It's an online virtual community where people create a new identity and then they live an alternate existence.
But some users say it's an addiction and that Second Life has ruined their real lives. It's a place where people can live out their fantasies, put the real world aside and become someone else.
My name is Asri Falcone. I am a content creator within Second Life. I have a housing company and I specialize in high-end and extreme luxury. Asri is me.
Second Life users can get jobs, buy goods, have relationships and yes, have sex. There have even been weddings inside the world. These two met inside Second Life. After forging a virtual relationship, they decided to connect for real.
It's a relief that when we finally meet, she is who she says she is, and even more beautiful than I imagined.
Sometimes I feel like I've been waiting my whole life.
But for some, it's an addiction.
I call Second Life the best and the worst thing that has ever happened to me. It was after going for days straight that the other things just weren't important anymore.
I think it becomes a problem when you ignore your first life.
She feels alive, and it feels like a real life.
For more, we're joined by Rhett Woods from Linden Lab, the company behind Second Life. He's in San Francisco, and in Melbourne, psychologist Les Posen. Good morning to you both. Rhett, we'll start with you. Do you believe Second Life is addictive?
I wouldn't say it's addictive any more than other things that we consume, video games, texting our cell phones, or even watching the very television show that we're on now. But what I would say is there are users that are really creating content and spending time because they're creating and they're selling their virtual wares.
So just explain how involved the community is, how close to reality it is.
Well, I would say it's, you can view Second Life as an extension of one's life, not a replacement for one's life. And it's a very diverse community, and there's a lot of different things to do, from listening to music or just chatting to creating things to sailing virtual sailboats across virtual oceans.
Yeah. Les, Second Life has 1 million users every month. Australia is one of its top 10 countries. This is just good old-fashioned escapism, isn't it? What are the positive and negatives to that?
I think for some people it's the opportunity to explore parts of themselves that perhaps in their real life they don't get a chance to do. A time to perhaps try on personalities, opportunities, ideas, seek out experiences that perhaps in real life they're not able to do. Someone who's housebound, for instance, can explore life away from their own house. There are lots of educational communities too that are exploring how to use virtual worlds like Second Life to induct people into, say, health promotions. And there's some research that says that if you can see yourself exercising 3 times a week in Second Life, perhaps it will continue on into your outside life as well.
So I guess it's like everything, isn't it? There is certainly good and there are bad points. Les, there are a lot of online forums also for people who say that it's ruined their lives though, or it's ruined their marriages. How do people get help if they feel they're in that position, or their partner or someone they know is?
Yes, these forums have, of course, developed because people have found themselves caught up and spending even more time in Second Life than they have in so-called First Life. Yeah. And clearly there are situations where, as if, for instance, the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is go to Second Life to see what's happening, what have I missed out on overnight. That sense of compulsion that I must go and visit, that I might be missing out on something, to the exclusion of what's going on in your first life, would be one of the first hints that you're in a little bit of trouble. So there have been communities, very similar to, say, American 12-step programs that we've seen, like AA, which have developed to help people wean themselves away from the addictive qualities that they may have brought to Second Life, to seek sponsorship, to move themselves away. You can't, of course, ignore the internet any longer. It's part of most people's lives. It's a matter of balance, especially for young people.
Yeah, or go to a Second Life therapist maybe at the time.
Well, believe it or not, such things exist.
There you go. Rhett and Les, thank you for joining us. Fascinating.
Pleasure.
Good to see you. News is next on Sunrise.
This is Sunrise.